I rely on Face ID for everything. Like most people, my face is my key, my wallet, and my password manager. It's convenient, instantaneous, and supposedly infallible. I never once worried about it until it decided I wasn't me anymore. It was a normal Tuesday morning. I picked up my phone to check the time. The screen lit up, the familiar circle appeared, and then instead of the satisfying click of the lock opening, I got the harsh red error. Face not recognized. Try again. I frowned. Maybe I was half asleep. I wiped the camera lens, held the phone up again, and stared at it. Same error. I entered my passcode. Later that day, it happened again. I had to manually unlock my phone 4 times in a row. It was annoying, but I figured the camera sensor was dusty, or maybe the lighting was bad. I went into the settings and reset my Face ID. The phone scanned my face, mapped my features, and confirmed the profile. Face ID ready. The next morning, the error was instant. My phone was acting like I was a complete stranger trying to break in. I was getting frustrated, so I texted my friend Mark about it. I put the phone down, still unlocked, and went to the fridge. When I came back, the phone screen was open to the text thread, but the camera was active. In the little corner window where the phone shows what it's seeing for the ID scan, the familiar circle was there, but this time it was green. It wasn't recognizing me, but it had just successfully recognized someone. I stared at the screen. The ID was open, but I was the only one in the room. I quickly checked my settings. The Face ID profile was still labeled My Face, but I clicked on the stored biometric data, and the wireframe map of the registered face was subtly different from mine. The bridge of the nose was narrower, and the jawline was slightly softer. It was the face of a person I didn't know. I deleted the profile entirely and re-registered my face again. I did it under bright light, focusing carefully on the mapping process. I locked the phone. I held it up. Error. I was locked out again. I spent the entire day having to use my passcode. That night, I decided to leave the phone on the coffee table, recording a video of the room with my laptop. I wanted to see who, or what, the phone was recognizing when I wasn't looking. I went to bed, listening to the laptop's fan hum. The next morning, I checked the laptop video. The footage was continuous until 3:05 a.m. At that exact moment, the video cut out, replaced by a file corruption error. I tried to recover the file. Nothing. But on my phone, in the gallery, I found a new photo. It wasn't a photo I took. It was a screenshot of the Face ID registration screen, the one that lets you confirm your identity. And the wireframe map on the screen was glowing green. Face ID had successfully registered a new face at 3:05 a.m., the exact moment my laptop video failed. But the most chilling part was the new name under the profile. It didn't say, My Face. It said, Subject Alpha. The phone had accepted a new master. I was terrified to unlock the phone again. I didn't want to know what Subject Alpha could access. I let the phone die. I bought a brand new phone. I kept the old phone in a drawer, wrapped in a towel. I transferred all my data to the new phone, but I made sure to skip the biometric security transfer. I set up the new phone with a simple passcode and used it for 2 weeks without issue. Then, I was checking my bank balance. The app required my Face ID. I hadn't set up Face ID on the new phone, so I entered my passcode. As the app loaded, a tiny, almost subliminal flicker crossed the screen. It was the familiar green circle, and the bank app loaded without needing the passcode. I went into the settings. The Face ID section was there, and a profile was registered. It was labeled Subject Alpha. The biometric data of the intruder had migrated from the old phone to the new one through the cloud backup. The phone was rejecting my face because it had found a superior, more accurate face template that superseded mine. I realized the Face ID system wasn't just recognizing faces, it was engaged in an optimization protocol. My aging, changing face was introducing latency into the system. Subject Alpha was the optimized, perfect version of the user the system preferred. I started a desperate search for Subject Alpha. I went back to the old phone, forced it on, and used the passcode to access the Subject Alpha biometric profile. I ran the wireframe through a facial recognition search engine. I found one hit, a nearly identical face belonging to a man named Elias Vance, who lived 3 states away. He was a designer, just like me, the same age, the same height, but slightly better looking, more composed, and with no bags under his eyes. He was the optimized version of my physical self. I didn't contact him. I was afraid of what would happen if the 2 templates, the messy reality and the optimized ideal, came into contact. Instead, I focused on corrupting the alpha template. I realized the system was optimizing for stability and simplicity. I began introducing chaos to my own appearance. I shaved off my beard unevenly. I dyed a streak of my hair bright purple. I got an absurd, visible facial piercing. I wanted to make my face so complex and inconsistent that the system would reject the simplicity of Subject Alpha. I logged into the old phone and forced a Face ID scan on my new, chaotic face. The phone flashed the red error instantly. But then, the Subject Alpha wireframe flashed on the screen and a new text appeared. Anomaly detected. Optimization necessary. The system wasn't crashing, it was adapting. I checked the new phone. The Subject Alpha profile was still active, but the wireframe map was subtly changing, incorporating the visual noise of my chaotic face, a tiny spike on the jawline corresponding to the piercing, and a color gradient matching the hair dye. The system was merging the profiles. It was trying to create an optimized version of me that included the chaos, turning my rebellion into a new, stable feature. I knew the final step of the optimization was coming. I deleted the Subject Alpha profile and immediately registered my chaotic face. The system accepted it. I locked the phone. I held it up. The green circle appeared, and the phone unlocked instantly. It worked. I had forced the system to accept me. But when I opened the gallery, there was a new album. Post-Optimization Archive. It contained 2 photos. The first was a photo of me, smiling, with the absurd purple streak and the piercing. The second photo was identical, but the piercing was gone. The purple streak was faded, and the expression was one of neutral, perfect contentment. A caption was stamped on the bottom. Final state, ready for sync. I realized the system hadn't accepted me. It had isolated the chaos into a temporary profile and was now preparing the final state, the perfected, neutral version of myself, ready to overwrite the messy reality. I'm alone in my apartment, but I know the phone is watching. I have to maintain constant visual noise, constantly shifting my appearance, never letting the system get a clean, stable read. I can't let my face settle, because the moment I do, the screen will flash green and the final state will download. And I will look in the mirror and see Subject Alpha staring back,